And I'm Parker. And together, we're MeWe. MeWe stands for Matching Employers with Employees. And you might wonder what prompted us to think of such an idea. Well, here's our story.
So we went out and started talking to our friends, and the thing that we found out was that a lot of our friends, A, want jobs, but B, don't have money to do anything. So just really quick, think back to your first job. You had to go in and search for that job, and the first hurdle you had to jump was the hurdle of being 18 or older, because a lot of jobs out there require people who have at least 18 years of older experience. And the second thing is the barrier of past experience. We know when you're looking for a first job, finding one that doesn't require past experience isn't easy. And even if it says it doesn't require past experience, they'll hire the individual with past experience over you. So that's the second barrier. The third one is you go into the interview, you go through the interview process, and it's going really well. But then you hit that very last end and you say, do you have flexible hours, or can you be flexible with my teenage schedule? And your employer might kind of say, oh yeah, but then you never really get the call back, So that's one of the issues we saw, and we verified this issue both with employers and employees, because employers also want to hire teenagers, but there is that issue there. So we went out and we found data, and this is what we found.
We know that our problem exists because we sent out a survey to our classmates. We have 67 responses. Ages range from 15 to 18. We asked them to rank how important it is for them to have a job, and we found it's almost always a 3 to 5 importance. So we know that teenagers at this age want jobs. Then we asked them to rate the most influential factors to them about getting a job. And we saw that flexible hours is very important, with less than 15% saying it was a 3 or less. So we know that students want a job where they can have flexible hours that fit into their schedule, and therefore verifying our job.
For employers, we went out and we had interviewed several employers. We have gone out and spoke to several local employers, including Crazy Crab, Best Buy, the Park District, and a couple private restaurants. All the employers said it's really hard to find a teenager to fit the jobs they needed, mainly because of flexible schedules. A lot of them wasted their time going through interview processes and figured out, oh, this kid can only work 2 days out of the week. That doesn't really work for several employers. So that we've gone out, we've verified the problem exists with employers as well. We spoke to several employers, including Best Buy. Their biggest problem is seasonal demand. Seasonal workers is a huge thing in retail. They can't really find many seasonal workers because it's hard to find those who are looking for the jobs. Going out that, when they do find some seasonal workers, teen reliability is a huge factor in that. Some teams will say, you'll go in for the interview process, get the job and everything, they won't show up. They don't do things. That is a big problem for employers. All this hassle, spending all this time, getting them hired and everything, and then they don't show up. That's a big problem.
And so our solution to this problem is we will have a website, and on our website there will be a single application that teenagers can fill out with their information and their schedule, and then also their courses. Their courses will help employers if they're looking for a specific type of teenager. And then we're looking for our niches, ages 15 to 25. And then also to view teen quality, we'll have them either upload a resume or counselor or teacher recommendations to show that they're reliable workers. And then also on our website we'll have employer filters that'll allow them to pick students without having to then interview them and go through that long hassle.
So for our competitors, we do have 3 major competitors, SnagJob, Indeed, and Monster. What we found the problem with them is that both Indeed and Monster, they focus on mostly career-based jobs, and SnagJob focuses on high turnover rates like we do, but they require 18 year older and past experience in what they look for. And with their employer side, they really only have links to their websites and not an actual application where they could see the employers and employees and what they want and their hours and their availability and recommendations. So.
So kind of to summarize what Brittany and Parker have been saying, there's 5 things that really make us unique. The first thing is that we specifically target teenagers, mostly 15 to 18-year-olds, but also a little bit beyond. But the target 15 to 18-year-olds, high school age, is that age where individuals need a job or want a job, they have the time for it, but they don't really know how to get it or it won't fit their hours, and factors such as those. The second thing that makes us unique is hours and season of availability. We are going to focus on these because what our website does is when they go on and they fill out their application, they list the specific hours that they can make, what days they can make, and what seasons they can make. Say if they have a sport in the fall, then they can't make the fall, things like that. So the employer has more accessibility to a really comprehensive schedule, and the teens will be more likely to do it because it's only one application. The third thing is that we want to make sure that there's reliability, there's integrity, and that these teens are someone that will go to work. So we're looking at things like transcripts, we're looking at possible teacher recommendations, possible grades, what classes they've taken. Factors like these will influence how they are taken as a job, not only in what qualifications they have, but it'll show holistically what kind of individual this person is. The fourth thing we're looking at is that because it is a single application and that the teenagers go on and fill this one application out on the website, kind of like Common App if you have experience in the college field, it makes it easier and the teens are willing to do a little bit more for the application. And the last thing that really distinguishes us is we are teenagers. We are high schoolers. So we have this direct connection to the market that a lot of these large corporate businesses don't have. And because of that, we are able to promote better and we know exactly what they need.
For getting our customers known out there, to get our name out there and everything. For teens, we're basically using social media. Social media is an extremely accessible way to do so. Teens are constantly on social media. You probably know it in your classes if you're a teacher or if you've helped out in our classroom. Constantly on social media, either it's Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, anything like that, Instagram. Everyone's constantly checking it. It's a free way to do so and it's extremely efficient for teens. For employers, we're kind of taking a more professional approach. To be professional with this, we're thinking of going door to door, face to face, speaking to these employers themselves. It'll kind of show integrity and some confidence in our actual business. We'd be more likely to get them as customers and bring them in. Showing face to face with them themselves would kind of show us as someone better, and maybe they'd have more trust in us.
And then next we looked at our total available market, so our market for our solution, and we looked at all the small businesses and private businesses in the United States, and that's how we got to 6.3 billion. And then from there we narrowed it down and looked at the Chicagoland market and looked at that area and all the small and private businesses there. And that's how we got 56.25 million. And then from there we went down to 0.5% of those Chicagoland businesses that we can market, and so that's how we got 281,000.
With our cost structure, we were planning on doing $74.99 a month. And the 3 months are based off the highest hiring peaks in the year. And we noticed that we did the penetration pricing this way because we noticed that with other companies like SnagJob, Monster, and Indeed, is that they have incredibly high prices for their employers to do, just for limited job postings. So it's like hundreds of dollars for only 2 or 3 job postings a month. And then we also realized that with employees, they don't really quite have the money yet, so we thought they should be for free and sign up for free and find jobs that way.
For revenue for the first year, we're projecting about $281,000. That's our 0.5% of our available market in the Chicagoland area. That's only private businesses. That's no big businesses at all. No McDonald's, nothing like that. Only private, family-owned businesses. From there, we're projecting at year 5 about $430,000, slowly rising.
So for MVP, what we already have out there is an explainer video. We have about 100 views on that, and then we also sent out our surveys to our employers and employees, which is how we got our data. And then we also have a landing page, very basic, where you can find our social media links and give feedback to us directly.
And then MVP, what we're asking for. The first thing is we're trying to create a prototype website. The reason why we can't go to websites like Weebly is we have to hire a programmer. And this programmer would have to be able to help us program a website that would allow individuals to go on and make their job application and post it. And then it would allow the employers to go on and search for these employees and see who would possibly be available. But second, they could also post jobs on there. So because of the complications of this website, we're looking at about $300. That's based off of GoDaddy, based off of Riot Labs, and some other private individuals we've been talking to. The coding is a little complex for us to do on our own. Additionally, we're going to have to buy a server. 1 year for a server will be about $35. The server would be the basic storing of information of what we have. So with the $35, it'll give us room to grow, and it'll also give us a place to store the information that we need. The other thing is that we want to publish our domain name so that we have a set MeWe job site so that we can go on and continue on building from here and we have something stable to build off of. In terms of promotional tools and what we need money for there, the first thing is the business cards. Business cards from Vistaprint are about $10 for 500 business cards. Not too big of a price there, but just so that we can have something professional to give to the businesses. And then the other thing is that we want to go to business and job fairs. The cost of entering the job fair plus the fact that we have 5 individuals will cost us a bit just to get in. So hopefully we can make more connections there and really get our business out there. In total, we are asking for $435.
And then now how we will view success is the number of visits on our landing page, and then also the number of people watching our explainer video, and then the feedback from the surveys that we get from both the employers and the employees. And then also the number of businesses that are committed to signing up for our website and our product.
So we are MeWe. Thank you for watching our presentation, and feel free to ask any questions.
Do you already have you said you already have the video?
Yes, we already made an explainer video.
How much did you spend
Yeah, how
on
much
it?
that cost?
We made it free
We
through.
made it ourselves.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Have you
through
seen
the
it?
Business Incubator Program gave us a Powtoons, I believe it's
Powtoons.
called. And so they're kind of like little animated cartoon figures that move around. And so we made the animated cartoon figures along with our voice, and we kind of made the video that way. If you want, we can tag you to the video, or you can.
And you also created your landing page for free.
So for the landing page, we're still kind of in the process, but it's very, very basic. It just has like our name on there and some of the links to our YouTube and social media.
There's no way to like store accounts on there. That's why we need a more professional website to actually do a prototype.
Is the $74.99 per month or for 3
The
months?
$74.99 will be per month. The reason we only chose the 3 months out of the year an employer would potentially use it is the 3 hiring peaks throughout the year. It's usually spring, summer, and fall.
So can they use it the rest of the
They
year?
can use it anytime. It just we're trying to be more reasonable and try to calculate something that's more realistic. We're not going to say somebody's going to use it 12 months out of the year because that's not realistic. So we just calculated the 3 hiring peaks, which would be 3
And
months.
it's
Businesses
multiple
pay for
jobs?
Correct.
How did you come to that $74.99? You asked people to.
$74.99. We kind of looked at our competitors' pricing. Snag-a-Job themselves, they're about $125 and up per posting, and they only allow 1 job posting for that price. From there, you go up and up and up. We're trying to just find something that's not too expensive because we're also targeting smaller businesses. Private businesses don't have too much money to shoot out for hiring people, but they're also looking for something reliable. So they're kind of in a iffy situation. Therefore, we're trying to come in and
So it's based off purely the competitor's price. That's it.
competitors, and then we're also I've spoken to my manager at Best Buy, and I'm not sure if you guys know Butera Market and Piggly Wiggly. We're actually family friends of the Buteras, and I've spoken to him about using it for his couple of his stores, and he said that for price wise that would be somewhere reasonable, but he said if it was a little bit too much, then possibly restaurants wouldn't use it.
Can they post how many jobs for that price?
For that price, they could post. We don't really have a set limit yet. We're not 100% sure exactly yet. But for the job posting, it would be we're guessing around 10, and then possibly offering some more packages. But we're not 100% sure yet.
Yeah, we're still kind of working out the pricing because there's a possibility we'll do like a yearly thing where they can pay a certain amount and access it for a year, or we can do like an anchor pricing kind of idea so that the $74.99 isn't the only thing out there, so they can get additional tools or less tools depending on how much they pay.
Can you go to the first slide? So, well, the point I wanted to make, the next one, where, right there, your first statement, 18 years or older only. Then later on, you said you're narrowing into 15 to 18.
No, you
Because
shouldn't
they
have
don't-
problem. That was
That's
not-
the 18 years and old only is our problem. Most competitors like Snag-a-Job.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, most
Yeah,
job
sorry,
postings are for
Right.
18 and older.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but why are you solving anything with the problem?
The problem? Well, like a big issue. All of us have actually tried to find jobs. I've used Snag-a-Job. It's extremely hard to find jobs because all the postings they have on there, you have to be 18 years and
And
older.
I'm trying to come back to Bob's question, right?
Mhm.
Because if you say the problem is 18 years or older, and that's the problem you're solving, but later on you say 15 to 25, so shouldn't you just say the problem is for 15 to 25?
Well, what we're stating in the problem here is, the problem itself is that it's, most job postings are 18 years and older. So you have to be 18, that's the issue that we have.
Yeah.
We're saying that like teenagers, like, 15 to
get it,
18
I get
can't find the jobs, that's why we only
Yeah.
put 18 and older.
So coming back to teenagers,
Mhm.
right? Back to 15 to 25.
Right.
So what makes you think that, let's say 20 and older who are college or already doing some kind of work are gonna work with you? Because I can understand the 15 to 19, give or take,
Right,
plus or
right.
minus. So what makes you sure that 19 plus, right, those in college are already in work?
Yeah, well, the
and
19
listen
plus,
to
they
you?
also have a really ridiculous schedule with college. My brother, he actually goes to Millikan, he plays
Okay.
soccer there as well, so he's always busy, and it's hard to find themselves a job as well. But scheduling between soccer and the hard classes they have, and college courses can be night classes and day classes, so finding flexible hours and scheduling for them for a job as well is quite difficult. So we're also trying to shoot for the range of college students, mainly students themselves.
And we are gonna try to start with the 15 to 18 because we have a more direct connection to them, and then that's our ultimate plan to expand to 15 to 25 so that we can really maximize on the
So
market.
you cover the high school and the initial college years.
Right.
Okay. So let's go back to your, how you gonna spend the money. Is there any other questions you have before the money part?
I just had one question in regards to, 500 business cards for what, $15?
It's $10.
$10? That 500 will have your name on it, but not your name. Are you gonna have names on them, or?
The 500 themselves from Vistaprint, you can actually, we looked into it, you can customize so it's a 500 as a group package for $10.99, or for $9.99, sorry. And then you pay shipping, so it'll probably get around to maybe $12, which is not too much. And then with that, you can actually customize, so let's say there's 500 total, we can get like our names on them spread apart. So there's
120
multiple.
120 cards. Oh, okay.
But you know you can do it for free, right? You can just buy a bunch of paper,
Yeah.
print it on your thing with a business,
We've looked into that
software and
themselves.
you're done.
We've looked into that as well, but doing that, having paper itself, it's not as professional. Having an actual business card is way more professional than handing out pieces of paper that
No,
just say
not
name
pieces
on it.
of paper, you can actually get
It's,
business card paper, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Which is perforated.
I think
So
you're
you
gonna spend
can
more.
print on it and perforate it.
Yeah,
and
but
get
then
out.
with that, also
Yeah.
you're looking at spending costs for printing.
Yeah.
If we were to print that at the school, they charge 50 cents per paper with
Yeah.
color, so I mean, it all adds up
Use
really
your-
quickly.
Your parents' printers and things like that.
Oh, they'll get mad at us here.
So the other things are back to the server, right? You are aware that you can just get a server for free out in Amazon or Azure or somewhere out in the cloud. So if you register with them, with Amazon, for example, your first year is free.
But getting a server with Amazon, we've seen several free possibilities, but with getting a server from Amazon themselves, having a company as GoDaddy or so, they will not work on our website on
Two
that.
separate things, right? GoDaddy is.
GoDaddy, they're actually, they sell servers themselves, and they also, they have coders and designers as well. We've talked to them, let's say we were to hire them and have them build us a prototype website, they will not do it unless it's on a GoDaddy server. That's the way they kind of lock in their customers.
So what's your $300
That-
versus the 35?
The 35 itself is for yearly cost for renting the server. That's being able to use their bandwidth, the storage, and everything to run the actual website. The $300 for building the website, that's paying a coder such as GoDaddy to actually build a prototype website themselves. So building the website is a separate cost from renting the actual server that will run the website.
And then you got a publishing the domain name for $15.
The domain name itself is $15 for the first year, and then after that, I believe it goes down. I think it went down to like $5 a year after that.
For $10 or less, depending on where you go to, just letting you know.
Yeah, we're trying to
I
find
got
one.
all this numbers, figured out, so I'm just.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the $15 actually from GoDaddy as well. They sell the domains
Don't
there.
go to GoDaddy.
No,
We found the domain that we wanted in GoDaddy. They were actually GoDaddy themselves. They buy out a whole bunch of domains and then they sell it. They're the owners of it currently, so there's not much we can do with wiggle room on that.
It's I can have a whole conversation about all these things. Right? So GoDaddy is not the authority on domain names, right? Erin is, and all of them simply work with Erin. So you can actually go to any competing website and get whatever domain you want if it's available, right? Just information.
Sure.
So again, I'm not convinced that the 300 plus 35 is really needed, right? You can, whichever, there are, do some research, right? There are other competing websites where you can go to, they'll give you all-in-one packages, right? You can probably get some, you need to probably give hiring fees for building the website, but why don't you tap into some of your friends and students who will probably work with you, give them some equity stake in it.
So with the website, we have looked around and talked to different people. The thing that makes it uniquely difficult and uniquely expensive is that we want to have those accounts on there. And then we want the employers to be able to search those accounts and.
Yeah, I understand all that. All I'm saying is, don't you have friends who can do all that?
We have several friends who can help us. We've actually talked to quite a few of
Yeah.
our friends. They say they can do it, but at the same time is
Don't have
if they
time.
can do it, how well can they do it? And then from there, will it even look good?
Because like, since we are working with employers, we want to have something at least semi-professional for a prototype so that we can really sell them on it.
Do you have, any companies identified that you would test, you know, be your 10 to 15 connection, like who you work with initially?
Correct. I actually have a couple of people who are already lined up, ready to use the product if it was
Okay.
available. Do you know Tiamo Restaurant?
Yeah.
Mr. Butera's son is actually the owner of that. He said he'd greatly use that. He needs dishwashers and stuff, so it's perfect for students. Mr. Butera said he'd also be able to test it on a couple of his stores. He actually is, I don't know if you know, he just bought out Caputo's, and he's looking for new hires there as well, so he said he'd be able to test it out. He said as long as we were to give him a small trial phase, it'd work. So I mean, it would work for us because we'd make sure it works and validate it, and then we'd also get somebody working on using it itself.
And on the teen side, we've talked to a lot of our friends, and like all of them are like, I need a job. So you know, they've shown a lot of interest in wanting to use this idea. So on the teen side, we're covered as well.
There's a big market in the college kids that needs the
Yeah.
job in the summer and a few weeks over break and, or a second job.
Have you looked at how LinkedIn works for the professional jobs?
We have looked at LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a lot more career-based. It's
Right.
a lot more professional. You're ready. You're an
Correct.
adult. You're looking
But
at
you
your
can
job
get ideas
yourself.
from there and tune it down to what you
Yeah,
want to
so
do.
we've looked a lot into LinkedIn, Snagajob, and Monster. We've looked how their websites are set up, how their payment plans are set up and everything. And all of them are different. But the only thing is all of them tend to be very expensive for the employers. That will not help private businesses. Private businesses usually don't want to spend much money on that.
Sure. You mentioned private businesses, but yet you went over you mentioned a mall at one point. Aren't those kind of like chains?
Some of them
Like
are.
Best Buy is, and
Best Buy is a chain, that is correct. Right now we're targeting the smaller businesses because that's going to be our bigger market. Smaller businesses, usually it's harder for them to hire, and we're looking at the lower cost structure. Getting a big business such as Best Buy or some big chains like that, it's going to be a lot harder, and we'd have to actually be developed at that stage. So that's for expanding later.
what other seasonal businesses are you looking at?
Seasonal businesses, well, there's tons of Halloween stores that pop up. Not even that, retail itself. For seasonal, I currently work at Best Buy and Costco, so for seasonal, when it comes down to fall, they hire like crazy. And that's when usually students are off of sports and they're going into winter break. They don't mind working those weeks because they have nothing to do anyways. So at that time, the jobs are insane. There's a lot of them out there.
We also talked to the Schaumburg Park District, which hires almost, if you talk to any one of our friends, they're probably like employed at the Schaumburg Park District. And so there is a high turnover rate because people are in cheerleading, people are in volleyball. So we have a direct market to the Schaumburg Park District too, which is a lot of seasonal jobs.
And we've actually spoken to a couple with the park district, and they've said that they'd be willing to do it just because we're local and we're Schaumburg High School, and just because we're in the area. They would definitely like trying it because we're also part of where their staff members kind of.
So are you going to be kind of insurers for the students and for the employers? That is, if the student doesn't show up, what's your
For
what's
us
your role?
ourselves, we wouldn't be responsible if the student doesn't show up. What we do is we provide the student and the employer of basically a reason to explain themselves, show themselves up. So if a student were to go on the website and say, hey, I'm a great person, great candidate for your job, they actually get an opportunity to show that. They get to put the transcript, try to show them that they are a good candidate for the job.
You rate them, hey, this one didn't show up.
Yeah, that's actually what we're thinking of
Yeah,
building in.
ongoing
So an
feedback.
employer can rate that person once they're hired.
And
So,
the
let's
school should
say-
also rate the employer, right, it's both ways.
Yeah, we
Sure.
could have it definitely
Sure.
both ways.
Yeah.
So let's say Miss Griffin were to hire a kid for even babysitting. Let's say we did that, right? And he was awful. You know, didn't change diapers, didn't like doing anything. She can write an awful review, and then other people know for sure that is not a great job for that kid. You know?
Okay.